It was a quiet evening in the city. The streets outside were half empty and the sky carried a soft orange glow from the setting sun. A young man named Daniel sat alone in his small apartment. He was an ordinary person, or at least he thought. So he worked a regular job, ate the same meals every week, and lived a life that was simple but lonely. That evening, Daniel had ordered food. He was tired after work. He wanted to rest, but something unusual happened. A knock came at the door, sharp and strange. He opened it slowly, expecting the delivery boy. But instead, a young woman stood there. She looked no different from a human maid, dressed in plain clothes, holding a small bag. She lowered her head and said softly, "I am here to work." Daniel was confused. He never asked for a maid. He never called anyone. His apartment was not even big enough for such help. Still, the way she looked at him made him pause. Her eyes were calm but carried something unusual, a faint silver shine. He laughed nervously. "I think you came to the wrong place." The girl shook her head. "No, this is the right place." Her voice was flat, emotionless like a machine. Yet there was a tiny tremble in her words. Daniel did not know what to say. Something in his heart told him not to push her away, so he allowed her in, thinking she was just confused. He thought maybe she had mixed up addresses. Maybe tomorrow she would leave. The maid entered quietly. Every movement she made was exact and smooth. She placed her bag in the corner and without asking began to clean. Her steps were soft, her hands steady. She dusted the shelves, arranged the table, and folded the clothes without a single mistake. Daniel watched, surprised. No human maid could work like this. She was too fast, too perfect. Her hands moved like they knew the future. He felt uneasy. Later that night, Daniel tried to ask her simple questions. "What's your name?" he asked. She looked at him with blank eyes. "You can call me Lyra." "Where are you from?" he asked again. She paused for a second. "Far away?" Daniel smiled, trying to be polite. "Far away like another city?" Lyra did not answer. She just looked out of the window, staring at the sky. Her silver eyes reflected the stars as if she missed them. That night, Daniel could not sleep well. He kept hearing soft sounds, the sound of Lyra moving silently in the dark. At one point, he saw her standing at the window again, hands pressed on the glass, looking at the night sky with sadness. Her body was still, almost frozen. The next morning, Daniel found breakfast already made. The table was arranged perfectly. The tea was hot. The bread was golden. He was shocked. He never told her to cook. He said carefully, "Lyra, you didn't have to do this." She replied, "It is my duty." Her words were plain, but her tone carried something deeper, a hidden weight. As days passed, Daniel noticed more strange things. Lyra never got tired. She never asked for food. She never made mistakes. When she touched metal, it gave a small spark. Lights flickered when she walked near them. The air around her always felt colder than normal. Daniel began to wonder, who is she really? Once, while dusting his desk, she touched his old radio. The radio had been broken for years. But as soon as her hand brushed against it, the radio lit up and started playing music. Daniel's eyes widened in shock. He asked, "How did you do that?" Lyra quickly pulled her hand away. "Accident," she whispered, but her eyes looked worried. At that moment, Daniel felt a shiver run down his spine. Something about her was not right. She was not just a maid, not just a stranger. She was something else. Still, he could not explain why he let her stay. Maybe it was loneliness, maybe it was curiosity, maybe it was fate. Each night, Daniel watched her from the corner of his eye. She always stood at the window when the world slept, staring at the stars with longing. It was as if she belonged there, not here. He wanted to ask her again, "Who are you really? Why are you here?" But he held his words. Something inside told him the answer would change everything. And so, his life continued with this mysterious maid. Days felt normal on the surface, but deep inside he knew something unusual was happening. Something far, Greater than cleaning, cooking, or helping, it was the strange beginning of a story he would never forget. A story that was about to break the walls of ordinary life and open doors to secrets of the universe. Days turned into weeks, and Daniel's life slowly changed. He was no longer alone. The presence of Lyra, the strange maid, filled the silence of his apartment. Yet the silence itself felt heavier now. More mysterious, Lyra worked with endless energy. She never complained, never asked for money, never even looked tired. Her hands moved quickly. Her eyes followed everything carefully. But it was not her perfect work that made Daniel uneasy. It was the little things, the strange details that never made sense. When she cleaned the mirrors, her reflection always looked faint, almost blurred. Sometimes the reflection did not move in the same way as her body. Daniel noticed it one evening and felt his stomach twist. He tried to convince himself it was just his imagination. When she walked past the old light bulb in the hallway, it flickered every time. If Daniel passed, nothing happened, but when Lyra did, the bulb danced with light as if reacting to her. One morning, Daniel decided to test her without letting her know. He left a broken clock on the table. Its hands had stopped long ago. Lyra picked it up to dust it, and without meaning to, her fingers brushed the metal. In an instant, the clock ticked again, the hands moving smoothly as if brand new. Daniel froze. His heart beat faster. He whispered, "Lyra, how did you do that?" She turned quickly, her silver eyes glowing a little brighter. "It was nothing," she said coldly. She placed the clock down and stepped away. Daniel stared. The clock was working perfectly, ticking loudly in the silence of the room. He could not stop his thoughts. No human could do this, no maid could do this. That night, Daniel stayed awake. He wanted answers. He watched her carefully. From his bed, he saw her moving in the dark. Her figure was faint, almost glowing under the moonlight. She walked to the window again, her hand pressing against the glass. She whispered words in a language Daniel could not understand. The sound was soft, but heavy, like an echo from another world. Daniel's chest tightened. He realized he was living with someone or something not of this earth. The next morning, he tried to act normal. Do you ever miss your home?" he asked while sipping tea. Lyra froze for a moment. The question seemed to hurt her. Her eyes lowered and she whispered, "Yes, but I cannot go back." Daniel leaned forward. "Why not?" She shook her head slowly. "Because I am not supposed to be here." Her words sent a cold shiver through him. From that day, Daniel began to notice her emotions more clearly. She was not a machine. She tried to act cold, but sometimes she revealed tiny cracks in her mask. When she saw children playing outside, her lips curled as if she wanted to smile but didn't know how. When she touched water, she held her hands inside it longer than needed, staring as if water was something precious to her. Daniel realized she was hiding something. A secret, too, big to tell. But the silence between them was filling with questions. One evening, Daniel returned from work early. As he entered, he stopped at the door quietly. Lyra was in the living room, kneeling on the floor. She had opened her small bag. For the first time, inside it were objects Daniel had never seen before. Small metallic pieces glowing faint blue. Tiny crystals that pulsed like living hearts. She held one of them close to her chest, whispering softly. Daniel's breath caught. He stepped on the floorboard by accident. It creaked. Lyra jumped, her head turning sharply, her silver eyes flashed. "You saw nothing," she said quickly. Her voice was sharp, colder than ever before. Daniel wanted to argue, wanted to demand answers, but her eyes stopped him. For the first time, he felt fear. Later that night, Lyra entered his room silently. She stood by his bed. Her voice was soft again, almost sad. "Daniel, do not search for answers. It will only bring danger." Daniel swallowed hard. "Danger from who? From you?" She shook her head slowly. "Not from me. From them." He sat up, his heart pounding. "Them? Who are they?" But she turned away, refusing to explain. She walked back to the window, her figure half glowing under the moonlight. Her silence was louder than words. In the days that followed, Daniel's curiosity only grew. He felt like a prisoner of mystery. Lyra's presence was comforting but terrifying. Every time he tried to ask, she closed herself like a locked door. Yet the truth could not hide forever. Daniel knew one thing now with certainty. Lyra was not human. She was something else. Someone else. Someone who carried secrets from the stars. But what was her real purpose? Why was she here? Why his home? Why his life? These questions circled his mind day and night. He knew sooner or later the answers would come. He only prayed they would not destroy him when they did. And so the days continued, filled with silent tension. Lyra worked as if everything was normal, but her silver eyes told another story. A story of pain, of secrets, of something far greater than Daniel could imagine. This was no ordinary maid. She was a being from beyond, and her secret was only beginning to unfold. Daniel had lived with Lyra long enough to know that she was no ordinary maid. Her strange behavior, her glowing eyes, her silence, and her secrets all pointed to something far greater than he could imagine. Yet even with his growing suspicion, he never expected what happened that one evening, the evening when everything changed. It was late. The city outside was quiet. Daniel was working at his desk. He had a habit of writing down his thoughts in an old leather notebook. Sometimes he wrote about his loneliness, sometimes about his dreams. On that night, he wrote something deeply personal. It was not about work or life. It was about fear, hope, and the strange feeling Lyra had brought into his world. His hands moved quickly, pen scratching against paper. He felt relief as the words poured out. For Daniel, the notebook was not just paper. It was his heart. He never wanted anyone to see it, not his friends, not strangers, and especially not Lyra. But fate had its own plan. The door creaked suddenly. Daniel looked up. Lyra had walked in quietly. She carried a folded cloth in her hands as if she had come to clean. But the moment her eyes fell on Daniel's notebook, she froze. Her entire body stiffened. Her silver eyes widened. The cloth slipped from her hands and fell to the floor without a sound. Daniel frowned. "Lyra, what's wrong?" She did not answer. Her eyes were locked on the notebook. Her lips trembled slightly. Her hands shook. Daniel felt his chest tighten. He quickly closed the notebook, trying to hide it. "It's nothing, just private writing," he said awkwardly. But Lyra did not move. She stood there like a statue, frozen. Her glowing eyes reflected fear. Real fear. For the first time, Daniel saw her emotions so clear. She was not cold or calm. She was terrified. "What did you see?" Daniel asked softly. Her voice broke the silence. "You should not be doing this." Daniel blinked, confused. "Doing what? Writing? It's just words, just feelings." Lyra stepped back slowly. Her chest rose and fell as if she was breathing harder than usual. Her voice trembled. "No, not just words. You are not supposed to show this, not to anyone. Not even to yourself." Daniel felt a chill. He stood from his chair. "Lyra, you're scaring me. What are you talking about?" Her glowing eyes dimmed slightly. She pressed her hand against the wall as if to steady herself. For a moment she looked lost, fragile, almost human. "You don't understand," she whispered. "Humans are not supposed to create this way. You are not supposed to feel this deep. If they find out, they will not allow it." Daniel's heart pounded. He moved closer. "Who will not allow it? Who are they?" Lyra shook her head quickly. "You should not ask, please. Forget this. Pretend you never wrote it." But Daniel could not forget. His notebook was just a book of words. Why did it terrify her so much? What did she see in his simple writing that made her freeze in fear? "Lyra," he said firmly, "you have to tell me the truth. What are you hiding?" Her lips parted as if she wanted to answer, but no words came. She turned away, her hands covering her face. For the first time, Daniel saw tears in her eyes. They shimmered faintly, almost like liquid silver. Daniel felt torn. He wanted to comfort her, but the mystery around her grew heavier. This was no ordinary secret. It was something connected to her very existence. After a long silence, Lyra whispered, "When I walked in and saw your writing, I felt something I should never feel. I felt human." Daniel froze. His breath caught. Her words hit him like a wave. She turned back slowly, her eyes wet. "I was not sent here to live. I was sent here to watch, to report. But being near you, seeing what you create, what you feel, it changes me, and if my people find out, they will not forgive either of us." Daniel's body went cold. He finally understood. Lyra was not just hiding from him. She was hiding from an entire world beyond Earth, a world that feared human emotions. He whispered, "You're not just a maid, are you?" Her voice cracked. "No, I am not." The room felt heavy. The silence grew louder. Outside, the city lights flickered faintly. Inside, two lives stood on the edge of a truth too large to carry. Daniel wanted to ask more, but he stopped himself. Lyra looked broken, fragile. If he pushed harder, she might disappear forever. Instead, he placed the notebook back on the desk slowly. "Lyra," he said gently, "it's just me here. You don't need to be afraid of me." She looked at him for a long time, her silver eyes softening. Then, without another word, she turned and walked out of the room. The notebook lay on the desk, silent but heavy. Daniel stared at it, his mind filled with questions, his heart filled with fear and curiosity. He knew now. This was not just about loneliness, not just about a maid in his home. This was something bigger, something that connected his simple human heart to secrets far beyond the stars. And that discovery was only the beginning. The night after the discovery, Daniel could not sleep. His notebook lay closed on the desk, but the weight of it pressed on his mind like a stone. Every time he closed his eyes, he remembered Lyra's face, the fear in her silver eyes, the trembling in her voice. She had said too much, but at the same time, not enough. The apartment was silent, except for the ticking of the clock that Lyra had once touched back to life. Daniel lay in bed staring at the ceiling. His thoughts circled like restless birds. He wanted answers, but he was also afraid of them. Suddenly he heard soft footsteps. He turned his head. Lyra was standing at the door, her pale face half hidden in shadow, her silver eyes glowing faintly in the dark. She stood so still that for a moment she looked like a ghost. "Daniel," she whispered. Her voice carried both strength and sadness. "You should not have shown me your writing." Daniel sat up slowly. His voice was calm but shaking inside. "It was an accident. You walked in without warning." Her eyes narrowed slightly. "Accident or not, what I saw cannot be unseen." She took a step into the room, her presence filling the air with a strange coldness. Daniel felt a chill run through his body. Why does it matter so much? It was just words, feelings. That's all. Lyra froze near the desk, her gaze locked on the notebook as if it was alive. "You don't understand. Humans are not supposed to go that far, not yet your emotions. Your creations. They are dangerous." Daniel's chest tightened. "Dangerous to who? To me? To you? Or to your people?" For a moment she did not speak. Her silence was heavy, her body stiff. She looked as if time itself had stopped around her. Finally she whispered, "To everyone." Her voice cracked at the edges. Daniel could see her struggle. She was trying to control herself, but her body betrayed her. Her hands trembled, her lips pressed tightly. Her entire figure looked fragile, like glass ready to break. Daniel stood from his bed. He walked closer carefully. "Lyra, you don't have to be afraid. I won't hurt you." Her eyes darted to him, sharp but full of pain. "You don't understand. I am the one who might hurt you." The room grew colder. Daniel could feel the air heavy in his lungs. He had never seen her like this before, so broken, so torn between silence and truth. She pressed her hand against her chest as if holding something. Inside, I froze because I saw myself in your writing. The way you feel, the way you dream. It reminded me of something I should not have. Something I lost long ago. Daniel's breath caught. You feel like a human? She looked away. Yes, and no. I am not human, but being near you makes me feel close to it. Too close. Her words shook him. He stepped forward, his voice soft. Is that so wrong? To feel? To care? Lyra's voice broke. Yes. For me it is wrong. My people do not allow it. If they discover I have changed, if they know I have felt human emotions, they will destroy me. And if they learn it came from you, they will destroy you too. Daniel's throat went dry. Fear crawled in his chest, but another feeling burned stronger. Anger, not at her, but at the faceless they she spoke of. That's not fair, he said firmly. No one should be punished for feeling, for caring, for being alive. Lyra looked at him as if his words were fire. Her silver eyes reflected light, shimmering with both tears and defiance. For a second, she almost looked like she wanted to believe him. But then, she stepped back. Her body stiffened again. Her face turned cold. Do not say such things. You will only bring danger faster. The silence grew sharp. Daniel could hear his own heartbeat pounding in his ears. Lyra stood, there frozen like a statue trapped between two worlds, hers and his. Minutes passed in that frozen moment. Neither of them moved. The air was filled with unspoken words. Finally, Daniel broke the silence. His voice was steady. Then let me carry the danger. I don't care what your people say. You are here, with me. That's what matters. Her lips parted, but no words came. Her hands dropped slowly to her sides. Her body shook as if the weight of his words broke through her cold shell. For the first time, she whispered his name. Daniel. It was soft, almost fragile, but filled with emotion. Daniel stepped closer. You don't have to freeze anymore, Lyra. You don't have to hide. Her eyes closed. A single tear slid down her cheek, glowing faintly in the moonlight. She looked more human in that moment than ever before, but as quickly as it came, the moment shattered. She turned away, her body stiff again. Her voice returned to its cold tone. This conversation must end. You cannot speak of this again. Promise me. Daniel clenched his fists. He wanted to argue, but he saw the desperation in her trembling hands. He nodded slowly. I promise. Without another word, Lyra left the room. Her figure disappeared into the shadows of the hallway. Daniel sat back on the edge of his bed. His heart raced, his mind spun. He felt the heavy silence again, but now it carried something new. An unspoken bond, a connection that frightened him and comforted him at the same time. Lyra had frozen when she saw his heart written in words. But in her freeze, she had revealed her own heart, and that truth could not be hidden forever. The apartment was quiet again, but silence no longer felt the same. Daniel could not forget Lyra's trembling voice, the way she froze, the way she whispered that his words were dangerous. He promised her he would not ask again, yet promises could not stop the storm inside his chest. He wanted to know. He needed to know. Who was she? What was she hiding? What kind of power could make someone so perfect, so cold, yet so broken at the same time? The days passed slowly. Lyra worked as usual, folding clothes, cleaning dishes, moving like a shadow of routine. But Daniel noticed the cracks. Sometimes her hands lingered on objects too long. Sometimes she looked at the sky as if expecting something to fall from it. Sometimes her eyes dimmed, heavy with thoughts she could not share. One evening, Daniel decided he could not wait anymore. He sat at the table while she prepared the room. His voice was calm, but serious. Lyra, I cannot live like this. You said my writing was dangerous. You said your people would destroy us. I need to understand. Please tell me the truth. Lyra froze again. The cloth in her hand slipped. She stood still for a long moment, her face pale. Her silver eyes shone like moonlight, filled with conflict. Finally she spoke. Her voice was, "Sorry if I tell you there will be no turning back. You will see me not as a maid, not as a stranger, but as what I really am." Daniel's heart pounded. He leaned forward. "Then show me. Let me see you. Let me understand you." Her lips trembled. For a moment, Daniel thought she would refuse again, but instead, she walked to the window, pulling the curtain aside. The moonlight bathed her figure. She raised her hand slowly, and then it happened. Her skin shimmered faintly, like glass filled with light. Her eyes glowed brighter, not just silver but a storm of colors. Her outline blurred. Her body was no longer just human. She looked both real and unreal, fragile and powerful at the same time. Daniel's breath caught. His chest tightened with awe and fear. You're not from this world." She turned to him, her voice heavy with sorrow. "No, I am not. I am from far beyond your stars. I was sent here with one purpose: to watch humans, to record what you do, to measure what you feel. I was never meant to live with you, never meant to change." Daniel's legs felt weak. He gripped the table to steady himself. "Why me? Why my apartment? Why my life?" Lyra looked down. Her voice broke. "Because you were alone, easy to observe, easy to control. They chose you because you were simple, ordinary. But nothing about you is ordinary, Daniel. Your heart, it is not ordinary." Her words struck him like lightning. He shook his head. "I don't understand. How can feelings, how can writing be so dangerous?" Lyra stepped closer, her silver eyes filled with fear. "Because my people fear what they cannot control. They have power, technology, knowledge of stars. But they do not have what you have. They do not feel like you do. They see emotions as weakness, as chaos. They wanted me to study you, to prove that feelings only lead to destruction. But when I saw your writing, your heart, I realized they were wrong. And now, I am broken because of it." Daniel felt his chest burn. His voice shook. "And so you were spying on me and instead you changed?" Her hand shook as she nodded. "Yes, I was supposed to watch, but instead I learned, I felt, I became something I was not allowed to be." Her words carried shame, but also a strange kind of strength. Daniel stood and moved closer. "Then, maybe that's not wrong. Maybe it means you're more alive than ever." Her eyes filled with tears again, glowing like silver drops. "No, Daniel, you don't understand. If they discover this, if they see what I have become, they will erase me and you too, because you are the reason I changed." The words hit him hard. Fear crawled up his spine, but at the same time his chest swelled with defiance. He whispered, "I don't care. I don't want them to take this away. I don't want them to take you away." For the first time, Lyra's cold shell cracked fully. She stepped closer until she was standing just inches away. Her glowing eyes softened. "Why do you care so much? You should be afraid of me. You should want me gone." Daniel shook his head slowly. "Because I see you, Lyra. Not the Watcher, not the alien, but the person standing in front of me. You feel, you cry, you long for something. That makes you real. That makes you human in the only way that matters." Her lips parted, trembling. A sound escaped her throat like a sob she could not control. She pressed her hand to her chest, her voice breaking. "No one has ever said that to me before." The room was filled with heavy silence. A silence not of fear, but of truth finally revealed. Daniel's heart raced. He wanted to reach out to touch her hand, but he stopped himself. He knew she was fragile, like glass that could shatter with one wrong move. Lyra turned away suddenly. Her voice became sharp again. "You should not have this knowledge. You should not carry my truth. It will only bring danger." "But I cannot erase what you now know," Daniel whispered. "Then let me carry it, no matter the cost." Her shoulders shook, but she did not answer. She simply stood in the moonlight, glowing faintly, a figure caught between two worlds, one of duty and one of forbidden emotion. Daniel knew now. The truth had been revealed. But the truth was only the beginning of something far bigger, and for both of them, there was no going back. The air inside the apartment felt heavier than ever. The truth was now out in the open. Daniel knew what Lyra was, and Lyra knew she could no longer hide. But instead of relief, the truth only brought more silence. A silence filled with fear, longing, and something neither of them could explain. Days passed slowly. Lyra worked as usual, but her movements no longer felt the same. Her perfect rhythm was broken. Sometimes her hands trembled. Sometimes she stopped in the middle of her work, staring at Daniel with an expression he could not read. Daniel felt the change too. He tried to act normal, but he could not. Every time he looked at her, he remembered her glowing form under the moonlight, her confession, her fear of being erased. He wanted to protect her, but he did not even know how. One evening, as the city outside drowned in rain, Daniel sat on the couch watching drops hit the window. Lyra stood quietly near the table, holding a glass of water. She seemed lost, her silver eyes dimmer than usual. Daniel broke the silence. "Lyra, are you all right?" She blinked slowly. "I don't know." Her voice was soft, heavy. "I was not made to feel this way, Daniel. I was made to observe, to watch without changing. But now, I am no longer myself." Daniel leaned forward. "Maybe this is who you were meant to be. Maybe this is the real you, not the one they created." Her lips trembled. She placed the glass on the table with shaking hands. "You don't understand. For you, emotions are natural. For me, they are forbidden. I am not supposed to care. I am not supposed to want." Daniel's heart beat faster. "Want what?" She turned her head away, her silver eyes glistening. "To stay, to belong, to feel alive, to be more than a watcher." The words pierced Daniel deeply. He stood and walked closer. "Then stay. Stay here, with me." Her body stiffened. She shook her head quickly. "It's not that simple, Daniel. They are watching always. They can see through me. They can sense the change in me. If they know how far it has gone, they will come." Daniel's throat tightened. "Come here? For you? For us?" "Yes," she whispered, her voice breaking. "And when they come, they will erase everything. Me, you, this life, everything we shared." Daniel felt anger rise inside him. He clenched his fists. "They can't erase what's real. They can't erase what you feel." Lyra looked at him with eyes full of sorrow. "But they will try, and they will succeed, Daniel. My people are powerful. You don't know the strength they carry. To them, Earth is just a small place, nothing more. Humans are children in their eyes, weak, emotional, dangerous only because of the very things that make you human." Her voice grew sharper, almost like she was scolding him, but underneath it he could hear fear. Daniel took a deep breath. "Then let them see what emotions can do, let them see what you've become." Lyra's hands trembled harder. She stepped back, her voice shaking. "You don't understand the cost, Daniel. If I defy them openly, if I accept what I feel, they will erase me without mercy. They will erase you because you are the reason I changed, and the worst part—" Her voice broke completely. "I am afraid they are right. I am afraid my change will destroy you before it destroys me." Daniel's chest tightened painfully. He saw the tears in her eyes, shining like silver stars. She was torn between two worlds, the one she came from and the one she was beginning to belong to. Slowly he reached out. His hand hovered close to hers. "Lyra, listen to me. You are not destroying me. You are saving me. Before you came, my life was empty. I was alone. I had no reason to dream, but you made me feel alive again." Her lips parted in shock, her silver eyes softened. For a moment she did not move. Then slowly, carefully, she let his hand touch hers. Her skin was cool, almost electric, but soft. A wave of warmth spread through Daniel's chest. His heart pounded. He saw her trembling, but she did not pull away. "Daniel," she whispered, her voice trembling like broken glass. Why are you doing this? Why are you choosing danger for me? Because, Daniel said softly, you are worth it. Her breath caught. A tear rolled down her cheek. She closed her eyes, her lips shaking as if she wanted to say something but couldn't. For a few seconds, the world outside disappeared. The rain faded. The ticking clock grew silent. It was just the two of them, two souls caught between fear and hope. But then the moment shattered. Lyra pulled her hand away suddenly. Her body stiffened. Her eyes glowed brighter. She looked around as if sensing something invisible. They are close, she whispered, her voice filled with terror. I can feel them watching stronger now. They know I am changing. They know I am no longer theirs. Daniel's body went cold. His voice cracked. What do we do? Lyra turned to him, her silver eyes glowing with both fear and determination. We don't have much time, Daniel. I must decide soon, either to erase myself and protect you, or to run with you and risk everything. Her words struck him like thunder. His heart pounded. His mind spun. This was no longer just about secrets, it was about survival, about choice, about love and fear colliding. And in that moment, Daniel realized the emotional conflict was not only hers, it was his too. For every second he spent with her, he was falling deeper into something that might destroy them both. Yet even as fear grew, one thought burned brighter in his heart. He did not want to lose her, no matter the cost. The storm outside raged harder. Lightning flashed across the sky. Inside, silence returned, but it was no longer empty silence. It was silence before a decision, silence before a storm. And both of them knew. The choice could not be delayed much longer. The storm outside grew. Louder, thunder rolled across the city. Lightning flashed through the window, painting the room in sudden bursts of white. Inside, Daniel stood frozen, his chest tight, his heart pounding. He could still feel the touch of Lyra's hand, cold yet alive, fragile yet powerful. But her words kept echoing in his mind. I must decide soon. Either erase myself and protect you or run with you and risk everything. Lyra stood near the window, her glowing eyes staring into the storm as if she could see something far beyond the clouds. Her body was tense, her face pale. She looked less like a maid and more like what she truly was, an alien caught between duty and desire. Daniel finally broke the silence. Lyra, look at me. She turned slowly, her eyes glistening like silver fire. He saw fear in them, but also something softer, something human. Daniel, she whispered, I don't want to leave you, but if I stay, if I choose you, my people will come. They will erase us, both of us. They will make it as if we never existed. Daniel stepped closer. His voice was steady, but his hands shook. Then let them come. I don't care. I'd rather live one true moment with you than a whole life in silence. Her lips trembled. You don't understand. They can take away more than life. They can erase memory. They can rewrite the past. It will be as if you never met me. As if you never knew me. Daniel's throat tightened. His chest burned. Then I'll fight to remember you. I'll fight even if they erase everything. You're worth fighting for. Lyra's eyes filled with tears, glowing faintly like drops of starlight. She pressed her hand against her chest. Why do you care so much for me? I am not even human. I was sent here to watch you like an experiment. I was not meant to love you. Daniel's breath caught, he whispered. But you do, don't you? The silence grew heavy. Her lips parted, but no sound came. Her trembling hands gave the answer her voice could not. Finally, she whispered, Yes, Daniel. I do. And that is why I am terrified. He moved closer. His hand gently touched hers. She did not pull away this time. Instead, she leaned closer, her forehead almost touching his. For a moment, the storm outside vanished. The ticking of the clock faded. There was only the sound of their hearts beating together, but then Lyra stiffened. Her body shook. Her eyes glowed brighter than ever. She pulled back suddenly, gasping. They are here. I can feel them. Their eyes are on us. Their shadow is already reaching. Daniel's body went cold. What do we do? Lyra looked at him with eyes full of pain and strength. We only have two choices, Daniel. If I erase your memory now, you will be safe. You will live your life without me. You will never know I existed. Your heart will be empty again, but you will survive. Daniel shook his head violently. No, don't you dare take this away from me. Her voice broke. The other choice is to run, to leave this place, to defy them completely. But if we run, there is no safety. They will hunt us across the stars. They will never stop until we are gone. Daniel's heart pounded like thunder, his mind spun, but one truth burned inside him. He could not lose her, not like this, not to silence, not to erasure. Then we run, he said firmly. His voice was unshaken now. We run and we fight, I don't care how far. I don't care how dangerous, I will not lose you. Lyra's lips trembled, her tears fell freely now. Daniel, if we run, your world will never be the same. You will never see your home again. You will never be ordinary again. Daniel stepped forward. His hand touched her cheek gently. I don't want ordinary. I want you. Her body shook with sobs she tried to hide. She leaned into his touch, closing her eyes for a moment. Then she whispered, If we do this, there is no return. Then, let's never return, Daniel whispered back. The storm outside roared louder. The lights inside flickered wildly. The air felt charged, heavy, as if reality itself was bending. Lyra turned to the window, raising her hand. The glass shimmered like liquid, bending to her will. Beyond the window was not just the storm, it was something more, a faint glow, a hidden doorway to the stars. She turned back to Daniel, her face wet with tears but glowing with resolve. This is it, Daniel. This is our choice. Walk through this with me. And we become fugitives, lovers against the universe itself. Stay behind and you will be safe but empty. I cannot choose for you. You must decide. Daniel looked at the glowing portal, then back at her trembling figure. His heart pounded, his mind screamed, but his soul was clear. He stepped forward. His hand gripped hers tightly, his voice unshaken. I choose you. Her silver eyes widened, filled with shock and love. More tears fell. She held his hand tightly, stronger than before. Her voice broke, but carried strength. Then we run together. The window flared with blinding light. The storm outside grew silent. For a moment, time itself seemed to hold its breath. And then, hand in hand, Daniel and Lyra stepped into the unknown. The room fell empty. The clock ticked on. The rain poured. But they were gone. Somewhere beyond the stars, their journey began. And their final choice was only the beginning of another story.